Hey folks, this is Kalani, back with another PTR video for 7.1.5 and Hunter changes. Now this is going to be more broad than the last video. This is all Hunter changes and we're specifically looking at traps. So it was said at BlizzCon that basically they might have over-pruned a few classes, Hunters being one of them, and one thing that we're going to get back for both Marksmanship and Beast Mastery is traps. So we do have a new traps icon here, it's fantastic. We don't actually have Trap Launcher. This is going to work exactly the same way that Survival Traps works, in that it's basically baseline. And the two traps that we have for Marksmanship are Freezing Trap, which is our good old crowd control. We actually have crowd control now outside of Wyvern Stinks, that's fantastic. Freezing Trap, 30-second cooldown, basically just freeze something for up to a minute. Job's a good one. But we also have the new slowing one, which is Tar Trap. 30-second cooldown, hurls a tar trap to the target location that creates an 8-yard radius pool of tar around itself for 30 seconds when the first enemy approaches. All enemies have 50% reduced movement speed while in the area of effect, and it lasts for a whopping 1 minute. So basically we can kite again, which is amazing. We can AoE kite, and I do believe this might not snare actually because we're not survival. So we get the traps, a few of them anyway, and then survival is still able to use them better. That's kind of how this is playing out. So we'll quickly show you that Beast Mastery has the exact same traps, has both freezing and tar. All the way to the end for traps, we have freezing, and we have tar. Let's throw another one down. Why not? So both of those have their traps back. We've got crowd control, we can AoE slow once again. And one thing is also changing with survival, I do believe, with traps, to make them better if nothing touches them for 2 seconds and they're out of combat. So this is a new passive called Waylay. After 2 seconds, your traps become fully armed, making them especially devastating when triggered by a target who is not in combat, which is really a huge deal breaker. I mean, that's really cool. The point of this was to be so, you lure something into a trap and it does even more damage, except they have to be out of combat. So you can't hit it, no one else can hit it. That means it's not really going to see any use in a dungeon because no one can kind of drag it in unless they're waiting for you to place it in a patrol's path and then the patrol goes over it, and that does some damage. I mean, that's really the only way that gets used in a dungeon, and in a raid so you can kind of forget it. So I don't know, that's interesting. What kind of interests me after playing about with it a bit is I can explosive trap instantly, and the first tick does that 300% more damage, which isn't supposed to happen because it hasn't been 2 seconds, so I don't know if that's fully working yet. But explosive trap, if you manage to trigger this special effect, you get 300% increased damage. We'll throw that out again. Watch the first numbers. So I mean, the initial hit is 750k as a hit and not a crit, which is kind of ludicrous. I mean, that's a lot of damage if you can actually pull this off, but I don't see any real situation where it would happen. Now, the tar trap reduces enemies' movement speed by 90% for the first 8 seconds, so if you manage to get someone off guard, I guess they basically can't move for the first 8 seconds of tar trap. Not yet implemented, but freezing trap will also not break due to damage for the first 8 seconds. So I can see this being kind of broken in PvP, actually. If you manage to catch somebody in a trap or place a trap in a really good spot and somebody actually manages to trigger it while not in combat, you can then go to town for 8 seconds on that target as if they were stunned. So that's cool. And then obviously we still have Steel Trap, so let's swap to that. Steel Trap deals 100% increased damage and will not break due to damage for the first 8 seconds, which is apparently not yet implemented. But I'm really interested in this explosive trap damage, so the only way we can really test this is to go out in the world and try lure something into a trap. So I figure you can find any patrolling mobs and this should work, or any neutral mob, because they're not going to get into combat just by being close to you. So we had 750k ticks baseline, that was without critting. So if this crits on the first initial tick, I imagine that's pretty much going to one-shot almost any mob, which isn't special, out in the world. So explosive trap, pretty much a one-shot. That was fantastic. And as survival, there's no reason not to use it with Aspect of the Eagle just to get that extra damage, right? And we can definitely one-shot things. But as I say, it's only anything which isn't in combat, so you can't really start on it first and hope that's going to happen after the fact. And I don't see you really getting close to anything which is going to aggro onto you unless you know its patrol path. So that does seem quite useless. In fact, it seems almost as useless as the 200% aim shot bonus to something out of combat. I mean, that's probably more useful because chances are you're going to hit something from far away rather than having to get close to it and throwing a trap on it. You know, getting into combat in those two scenarios, chances are you won't be in combat for the aim shot and you will be for the trap. But that's the trap changes for hunters in 7.1.5. I'm just super happy that we have traps back for marksmanship and beast mastery. They were sorely missed. We actually have some reliable CC again. But that's it for this video. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.